Hi, today we are going to do some prism artwork. Now, this has been inspired by a wonderful artist on YouTube called Patricia Batzel, and she's quite amazing at this. There's no way mine looks as good as hers, so I will include a PowerPoint with this so you can also see the link to her YouTube channel and look at her fabulous work. Now, this type of work is abstract art, which is great because it means that we can kind of put ourselves into this artwork, quite mindful activity. So I'll show you the one I did the other day. This, I think it's going to be that way round because it doesn't really matter. And it's quite lovely and textured. It took a day or two to dry because it leaves ridges on the paper. Love work like that. So that's one of the ones I did in my sketchbook. This is another one I did on a scrap piece of paper just to try it out. So that's more central, that one. And this was one that I tried that kind of looks like the sort of things Patricia does. So, and I experimented afterwards with these. I put these into an app and framed them, which I'll show you on the PowerPoint. So it's quite interesting when you actually stick a frame around them, how good they look. So I'm going to show you what to do. Now, this one here, and I think maybe, oh yes, this one I did do it on here. You might have noticed that I've used a material on here that teachers don't like. So if your teachers are in the room, get your teachers just to put their fingers in their ears. Because they hate this, they hate this. I'm going to tell you a secret. Have they got their fingers in their ears? Are you sure? Right, because I have added to these two paintings a bit of glitter. Teachers hate it. Oh my goodness, they hate it. Don't let them hear that. Now, I did have a glittery paint, but I've also tried mixing a tiny bit of glitter to PVA glue. And what you can do using your glue spreader is add it afterwards, because the PVA glue dries clear. So you actually end up with just the glitter being left behind and a bit of a shimmer on your artwork. So that's something you can try. Obviously, don't use loads of glitter because it'll look a bit garish and a bit, but a little bit. Remember, a little bit is more than sticking absolutely loads on. It has a good effect. You wouldn't put a whole tub of or squeezy bottle of ketchup on your chips. A little bit is always best. Okay, so what I'm going to do first is you need to make sure that you've got your equipment ready. I'm going to go for a sort of blue theme with my paints. So I've got lots and lots of blue paints here already. I've obviously had to take all the lids off because I need to work quite quickly because I'm demonstrating this to you, but please don't leave the lids off because your paints will dry up. So I'm just doing it for demonstration purposes. Also, you need a damp paper towel. Now, because you're using a glue spreader, all you'll do in between adding paint to your design is you're just going to have to wipe your glue spreader every now and again. So a bit different from using a brush and a water pot. You won't be doing any of this because you're not using a brush. So all you're simply doing is you're just going to be wiping your glue spreader every now and again when you want to change colours. Okay, so first of all, what we're going to do, let me just steady the camera a little bit. It's quite tricky getting this in the right place. You're going to start with a central colour. Now, it's quite nice. Patricia uses gold for hers. Yellow's nice. I've tried to use colours that sort of go well together. So I've got blues, lots of different blues. So light shades and darker shades. I've also got some white. I do have these fabulous glittery paints, but again, if you want to add a bit of sparkle later on, you could mix a bit of glitter into PVA, because I really don't think we've got these in school at the moment. This is the kind of abstract painting where you're not really sure what the result's going to be. It kind of just evolves as you go along. So I'm going to do what Patricia does first, is I'm going to start with either a gold or yellow in the centre. So all she does is she puts a blob in the centre like that. And then what she does is she puts some colours around it. Now, the light blue I'm going to add, because that might look quite nice. Let's see, let's have some dark blue. Now, in school, I'm not really sure what resources we have at the moment. We might just, I don't know if we've got any tubey paints left. If you're using the other kind of paint, any paint will work with this. We've got some nice thick paints which you could just squeeze onto your book. That would be lovely. Right, okay, I'm just wondering what colours to do. I don't think I'm going to put the green in there yet. Got the light blue, dark blue. Let's have a bit of purple. So this is it. When you start off, you're a little bit undecided. It's just, oh yeah, that's kind of quite nice. I don't know if I've got any light purple. Let me have a look. Let's have a look and see what I've got in here. I've got, that's quite nice. Rose. Right, so yeah, it's choosing colours that you think are going to work well. I think I'm going to go with this. So you could already mix up some colours that you want to use. Ooh, see, it doesn't really matter. You're just squeezing them straight onto your book or piece of paper. Right, now, what you do is you get your glue spreader and you just go with it. So any direction really. I think I'm going to go upwards first of all. So you start from the centre and you start to spread. Ooh. And of course, when you first do this, panic sets in. You think, oh, am I doing this wrong? Am I going to like it? Don't worry. It's amazing what you end up with. So I might spread it that way. And then I might get my paper towel. See, we're just wiping it each time. And then I think I might take the gold through the purple. Decisions. Ooh, that looks quite nice. And then let's see, let's go through the blue. Now you'll be adding colour to this all the time, so don't worry. I might take, because I've got some of that blue still on my spreader, I might take that through the purple and see what happens. Ooh. So you start getting colours mixing in with other colours. What happens if I take that through the light blue? Let's have a look. And as you see, you start to get these ridges. Don't get rid of them. Makes it look really cool later on. Right, and then I'm going to go that way. Ooh. Okay. Right, I've got some paint on there, so I might take that up a bit because that's a bit colourless at the moment. Brilliant. So it's starting to look good. Don't worry if you begin to run out of colour as it sort of travels down the page. It all looks really good. Right, I'm going to wipe this and then I'm going to have to think about what other colours I might start to put in here now. I'm thinking now a bit of green might look good. So again, splodge from the centre. Splodge. Love that word. Splodging. Okay. Oh, which way shall I go? Right, I'm going this way. This needs a bit. So each time you're taking your colour through different places. Okay, and you can keep wiping. Still, I don't want it to be too green. I still think I want more blue, so I can squeeze more blue in. So you're making decisions all the time, and this gives you a unique piece of artwork. Oh, the green and that blue. Oh, I love that. So you get a feel for what you want after a while. So it starts to come together, and that blue in some areas, it's becoming like a peacock green. It's gorgeous. Oh, I didn't like the green, and now I think I do. It's really weird how you start to change your mind what appears on the page. Right, again, keep wiping. Got lots of green, loving that area. Something needs to happen over here. It's a bit weak, and now I want it to be bright and gorgeous. So, oh, I've got this blue. Let's try a bit of that. I could. What would happen if I added that? Is that the same one? No. Oh, I don't know now. That's the thing, you get so carried away after a while. No, they're slightly different. Okay, right, this one's going this way because it needs a bit of oomph. And again, squodge it through. Squodge, I think I've made up a word. Squodge it. Squodge it through. Oh, I love that blue. That's going to have to happen somewhere else. Right. Now, if you're sort of looking at it and you're thinking, oh no, I don't like what I've done, just bear with yourself. Just keep it going. Honestly, you'll be amazed, especially when you come to frame it later on, because if you frame your work, you can frame it in any area. You don't have to frame this whole piece. You could just go off and just frame a particular bit that you like, that's, you know, got the most gorgeous colours in it for you. We're all different about what we like. I am beginning to like this. I really am undecided now about what to add next, and I'm beginning to think, what would happen if I added a little bit of white? So this is different paint. What I've got on my sketchbook at the moment is acrylic. I'm now going to add gouache purely because I'm in the studio, I'm running out of materials, and it should work. And do you know what? Let's just see, because part of this is experimentation. We're experimenting. We've got no idea what we're going to end up with. But this is what Patricia sort of says in her film, that you just go with the flow. And it's amazing what you end up with. Oh my goodness, look at that. Oh, it's lovely. Right, it begins to make you feel good, because look at these ridges standing out. I just love it. You kind of get a rainbow effect. It's so gorgeous. Right, this white is, yeah, I'm loving it at the moment. And there's no waste. You're not wasting any paints either. That's what I like. Oh, yeah. The white's doing it for me. It looks good. Love it, love it. I need to kind of, I might add a bit of white here, because I need to kind of go up here again. I do love the gold. I can always add more gold later if I cover it up. So, oh, look at that bit. That's nice. And you start to really enjoy it, and you realise that even if you've done something and you think, oh, I don't like that, but you can go over it with something else. It's great. Loving the fact that I was going to add the yellow, but for me personally, I kind of like the colours I've got going on here with a hint of gold. So I'm not going to add that yellow now. So definitely, unless something goes a bit sort of wrong and I think, ugh, I've made a mistake there, I don't like that colour anymore, then I'm not sort of going to add the yellow unless I need to at the end. I've got a bit of, I'm not really sure what this is. It's a glitter paint. Again, if you want to add glitter, if there is any in school, add it at the end, because if you're adding the glitter with the PVA, your paint won't work over the PVA, so your glitter's going to have to be added last. But this is really, these paints are very cheap that I'm using. They come from the works, and I bought them in Wisbeach. So, oh, I'm just loving this. It's getting better and better. So I'm not using anything expensive here at all. But I do know that at the moment you've only got what school have. So you're going to still get some really nice combinations of colour. I might add the gold again right at the end. I quite like these thick swirls. Now, I'm kind of liking my centre, so I don't want to keep going back to my centre and going over it. So now what you can do is you can start to work your edges. So you can dab on little bits of colour in your edges. Now, I quite like this dark purple. I'm a bit of a fan of purple, as most people who know me well will know. So I'm going to sort of dip a bit on. Oh, I might clean my little glue spreader again, because I want this to be quite purple at the edges. So again, let's see what happens when, oh, look at that. Just love it. I might do a bit, oh no, I like that. Oh, it's so hard. You keep thinking, oh, there, let's put some there. Let's see what happens. Right. Oh, yeah, it's quite nice. So you can go to the edges and you can add. Now, I've been using the flat part of my glue spreader, but you can also use the sides. So if you want to add some thin streaks going through, use the sides. It's quite good. So I have got, I might do a bit of purple there. So I think we're going to have a little bit there. Let's have a look. Yeah, I do love that. It's nice. Okay. Right. I would now like to add a bit of the gold, I think. So I'm wiping it again. Your hands will get a bit messy, don't worry, but you shouldn't have it all up your arms or all over the desk. So try to keep it under control. So we're not really trying to create too much mess here. I'm going to put a tiny bit of gold in my centre, because it would be nice just to have a bit of gold there. And I'm just going to flick some golds out so it's a bit more of a starburst. And I might just leave a little bit of a dab of gold in the middle. I quite like that. So, I mean, you can use this spreader in so many ways. Okay, now let's try some little flicks of gold. Right, by seeing if I can get it to Right, so you can do that. So you can do thin streaks. It's quite delicate, so don't rush this. But if I want thin streaks, so you can really play with this. It's wonderful. And everybody's in the artwork in the classroom is going to be completely different. You're going to have your own unique pieces of artwork. Be fabulous. Oh, I do like these thin streaks, they're lovely. And don't forget, you can add some splashes of colour around your edges. So if you want some, just take it out. It doesn't have to come from the centre every time. And just keep going. And obviously, if you end up where you splodge, that word again, love it, you drop it on your work, and just blend it in. Nobody knows. There are no mistakes here. Just make everything work. A bit of gold there. It's just everything looks like it's meant to be. Nobody knows what your intentions were. I'll just add a bit through there. Okay, right. I'm quite happy with that, because what I'm thinking of is I'm not worried about the whiteness around the edges. I mean, yes, of course you can fill those in, but I think when I frame this, I'm going to cut off some of the edges, and so that the centerpiece is the important part for me. So I'm just going to frame it off just there. So yeah, have a go. This is lovely. It's very therapeutic. It's really gorgeous. And don't forget, you can do one. And if you're not that happy with it, what often happens with me is at the time, I think, ugh, not sure if I like it or not. Then I'll leave it to dry. And when I come back to it, when it's dried, I feel about it a lot more differently. And I think, oh, actually, I love it. And these are really nice ones to look at very closely. Because there's a lot going on, and there's some beautiful mixing in there, which is great. So that's Prism artwork, and what we'll do is I will probably add a bit of glitter to it. So I do have some glitter here. Obviously this is the paint, so I can build it straight in, and then I'm going to add a bit of glitter. This is quite see-through. Look at it. It's not really going to detract from anything I've done, because it's quite see-through. And it's the same with the PVA glue. If you use PVA glue, I would test it first to see if you like the effect. Test it on a little scrap of paper over some paint to see if you like it. PVA glue will obviously be white to begin with, and then as it dries clear, but you might not like that. You might prefer to keep it as it is, but this just adds a little tiny bit of sparkle to the work, so that if this is framed and put up anywhere near the sunlight, it will capture the light. So I'm just going to add little pieces. I don't want too much, because I just think little bits are a lovely hint, but I just don't want to ruin anything that I've actually done on here. And just a little bit. I don't think I've got some there, so I've not slapped it all over. Okay, right, I am going to leave that to dry now and see what it looks like later.